Hello and welcome to this video that I'm going to talk about WebLOAD and how to fully automate a recording for functional test. So this is the topic for today. This is an advanced topic for full automation. If you're into CI/CD and you want to generate your script, it's possible to do it now completely automated by recording. In this demo, I will show you how I'm going to do it with a script that's written in Python. So Python is going to do it, and I'm using Selenium. This is the functional script, but actually the only requirements is that whatever it is that it can support a proxy and can make HTTP request. So this can be pretty much anything else that you have can be used for the same purposes what I'm going to show you. All right, so I'm going to start with this. This is my just environment. This is just a standalone Selenium script written in Python. So what it does here, it has some import. This is just basic Python. It's opening a Chrome here, and then it says go to this website, click on this thing and that thing there, and be done. So that's my basic script, and again, it can be any other language. Yeah. So the first step for automation would be to going to start WebLOAD recording via command line, and then we're going to say to Chrome to use WebLOAD as a proxy, and that way we can capture the traffic. So I'll just copy from I have an existing script. So this is how we open a command here. So this is just going to be okay. So before we starting anything with Chrome, we're going to do yeah, open a WebLOAD process. And then for Chrome, I wanted to go through my proxy recorder, and that's going to be this thing here. I'm going to tell it go through the proxy recorder. So that's going to be an option for Chrome. And now all the traffic that is going to flow is going to flow through um, WebLOAD proxy, and there we can record it. So let's see that. Um, Right, so now you can see the Selenium is driving the browser, but because we have the proxy recording, we're also recording the traffic in WebLOAD. Now we have a basic script. Now, this is all well and nice, and it works everything, but the thing is, this is not a complete load testing tool. This is a completely load testing script. It's just the traffic. So in a real process, you also need to take care of correlation, and you need to take care of parameterization, and you want to take care of something else. So this is where this is the next step that I'm going to talk about, how to do all these other things that you need to do. Um, so for correlation is simple. We have the correlation engine, and the correlation engine, you can set it up to, so let's see if I can open what I created. So I saved it in C temp, my recording. Yeah, so this is the recording it created. So it doesn't have here a transaction or anything, but it does have the correlation. So this is done automatically, and you can do it while. So if you're after the script is running, it's gonna automatically run the correlation rules that we have, and that's gonna take care of correlation. But for a real script, what we want to add transactions. So before we do this thing, we want to say, oh, this is this transaction. Um, and then so that's one thing, and then sometimes you need extra code for parameterization. For example, if we're going to add a new more users, then this would look like parameterization manager, and it's going to have some file, And all this basically eventually translate to code that I want to have um, in my script. So let's show you. Um, yeah, so there's going to be here script to initialize the parameterization, and maybe I'm going to add some validation code after that to say um, that it works correctly. So that would be a complete um, load testing tool, load testing script. Sorry. So let me add that in. So the way it works now, I can set out of bound requests, HTTP requests, to make all these other things happen. So I'm gonna have here a helper function to do make request. This is just a simple, um, yeah, let me grab this whole thing and explain to you what they are, and we can use them. So make request is basically a helper function. It's just how to make request in Python. It's making a request to whatever URL I'm sending it. Then the trick here is I want it to go through the proxy. Again, the same thing. I want it to go through localhost 99884. And then the requests that I'm going to make are going to go to specific URLs, special URLs. For example, if I go to stop recording, that would stop the recording. In my previous example, I actually had to manually stop it. Instead of manually stopping it for automation, there is a way to put a timer to say stop after 3 minutes, but this is even better. You can send it a request to stop the recording. And there are other URLs. There is a URL to call begin transaction that would add a transaction with whatever name I'm going to tell it. There's end transaction that would add end transaction. And there is add code block, which would go to, if I go to this URL code block, I can set it different parameters like JS, init client, init agenda, terminate client, and terminate agenda. Those are all built-in functions that happens either in the beginning of the script or the beginning of each users or at the end by the names, or just JavaScript to put arbitrary JavaScript. And that's how I can do the rest of this magic happen. Um, and all these requests are all dummy names, so it's not really going to https radview.com. This is just a special marker for us to know that that is a request that is intended to the recorder. So we don't make these requests. So stop recording, for example, if I add that thing at the end of the recording, I would do that. After that, I would put my stop recording, begin transaction. So before going to this is my home page. I'm just gonna call it home page, and then this thing would be, yeah, and transaction. I'm gonna put some sleep inside it. So this would be captured as sleep time. And yep, and then we can do, so after the submit, we can do some arbitrary code. So that would be add code block. So let's say, yep, here we can say add code block and give it, yeah, so this is just some JavaScript code here. If the document source is not login okay, then make an error message. So this would be like a validation code to be added to my script. Let's fire it. Yeah, so now it's driving the recording, but it's also adding my transactions, my code block. Yeah, so let's see this. Um, Yep, so now we have basically a fully functional load testing script. We have the transactions here. We have whatever code we needed to add before or after. We can add parameterization, anything that you can do in a script, you can add it, and the script is dynamically created. So every time you change the functional script, if something changes in the page and I change my functional script, it create a new working um, script for the load test. That's it. Thanks for watching this video. And if you have any question, reach us at support@radview.com. Thank you.